lot of years between games when it comes to Bethesda, especially when it comes to Bethesda's game studio proper. The last time we stepped into their world was Fallout 4. They always plant their foot down when it comes to the top RPG games. It takes the industry by storm. I'm a huge Fallout fan, and I've played pretty much every Fallout game, all the way up to 1 and 2 as well. Like I said, their games take the industry by storm. Starfield is no exception. Starfield brings that Bethesda formula into 2023, but I really do think there's so much to this engine and gameplay that still screams 2018. This includes how questing is done, story, the writing for the main story, and some of the jankiness that just comes with the creation engine. Not everything is stuck in 2018 though. There's major upgrade to the combat, there's base building, ship building, and dogfighting in space. My name is Harv, and welcome to the Point in Progress review for Starfield. The story for Starfield picks up with you, the protagonist, on a moon as a miner with Lynn and Heller directing you. After returning to the surface, there's a character creator. This character creator is very extensive. Just not enough beards though, which kind of made me really sad. Especially like the longer beards. There's good short beards, but when it comes to long beards, there was really only one. After creating your character, you get to go to the surface and a firefight starts and really gets you into combat. This leads you to take your new ship, or your first ship, to New Atlantis and join Constellation, a ragtag group of people trying to explore the universe and search for artifacts in any way they can. That's pretty much where the game opens up and just says, do what you want to do. Lets the player explore the universe and grab side missions and do stuff around New Atlantis, all that kind of fun stuff. The main crux of the story is to grab all the artifacts, unlock the mystery of the universe, and get different kinds of powers. I don't think the writing of this game is very good, honestly, and it kind of borderlines on meme-worthy, especially for the main story. There are some great moments on the side stories, especially when you go through the side faction stories. Those are really well done. But for the most part, I started to not really care what they were saying and what was kind of happening, because it just didn't feel good, and I just was not invested as much as I wanted it to be. Starfield has a lot of exploration. There are over 1,000 planets to go visit, but that exploration is hindered with a lot of loading screens and jumping from system to system. There could be random events that happen when you first jump into orbit for a planet, which is great for the first couple of times, and even a dogfight could start. This can lead to some really neat things and some random side quests, but it really kind of wears you down a little bit. My main problem with exploration in Starfield is the planet exploration part of it. I feel like the planet's POIs, or point of interest, are very far away from each other and don't really have anything to do in between them. You're just running in a direction. There are some things that you can scan, such as elements, flora, or even fauna, but this is just kind of a rinse and repeat thing every time you land on a planet. When you go to a random POI, there's usually a firefight, kill some enemies here, kill some enemies over there. There's not really any kind of like persuasion. You just kind of go there and kill a lot of things, loot the place, and then just go to the next one. The gameplay loop got really boring to me really quickly, since fast traveling around from planet to planet is pretty much just the menu. Every time you land on a planet, and if you don't have a settlement there, it's procedurally generated. I love and hate this sometimes because it kind of gives you awesome POI sometimes, like really big ones. But sometimes it just gives you the same ones over and over, and that kind of ruins the immersion of the game. It's really just kind of throwing your dice randomly and see what you get when you land on the planet. Starfield gives you the space. It gives you 1,000 planets to go to, but I feel like because of the fast travel and just menus, it feels like all the planets are disjointed, and it feels like the universe is actually not that big. I know I'm kind of harping on Starfield right now, but there's a couple of things that I really like about this game. When it comes to Starfield, other than the combat, the shipbuilding is one of my favorite aspects of the game. This is where your creativity can shine. I think the tutorial for the shipbuilding is not good at all. They don't hold your hand, they're just like, here, do it. But once you get started, you get to kind of the groove of things, everything and how everything connects and what you can prioritize. It's a lot of fun. You can go for something with lots of cargo that can't really do much of dogfighting, or you can go vice versa and go full on dogfighting and a little bit of cargo. I really enjoyed this part of the game. The other part that I really enjoyed is probably one of my favorite parts of Starfield is the combat. I enjoyed the fluidity and the different array of weapons that are in the game. Long range with a sniper rifle, then up close with a shotgun. You could feel each hit on the enemies. The random rolling of perks keeps the guns fresh. It kind of keeps you wanting to pick up everything that you see. There's no VAT systems in this game, which mostly all Fallout games have, but I think this game doesn't need it. It has a lot of variety to it, a lot of different ways that you can actually do combat, so I think it's fine without it. Sometimes you get to fight in low gravity, making combat feel completely different. This one brings us into the perk system of the combat. There are a lot of perks. There's a lot of perks if you want to go into your shotgun, your pistols, into your suits, your different guns, and then the guns have different attachments and all that kind of stuff, and they all worked in tandem. I really enjoyed the combat in this game. I think this is a great foundation for Bethesda to go forward with a lot of their other games. Before we outro this review, I want to talk about the performance of Starfield. I'm confident to say this is the least buggiest Bethesda game I've ever played. It doesn't mean there aren't any bugs. There are a lot of bugs in this game, guys. But it's the game that I've been least frustrated with. AI in this game is still janky. Seeing NPCs slowly drifting to the stars or being dragged to hell still happens. Faces lose texture and facial hair completely. NPCs not moving, so they're always stuck on your ship, and you can't move through them because there's no like pass-through physics. You're just stuck, and you feel like you're just gonna die in this hallway. Sorry, some nightmares were popping up again while I was playing this game. The performance of this game is really good, where I got a constant 60 FPS. Maybe some dips when I got to big cities like New Atlantis or Neon, but nothing major. The Bethesda jack is still there, and I know it's very endearing to talk about, but sometimes it can be annoying. It's great to be back in the Bethesda world again. There are some other stuff that I really did have gripes with, like the encumbrance and stuff like that, but I know a lot of people have talked to that to death. So I'm not going to really go over that. But honestly, the more I played this game, the more I enjoyed it. The more I explored all the worlds, the more I enjoyed being in this world. But there are just some stuff in this game that I just cannot make excuses for when it comes to the story, when it comes to the writing, when it comes to the exploration. But what Bethesda does well is some awesome character moments, some great side quests. The shipbuilding is really, really well done. I didn't do any outpost building because I'm not an outpost kind of person, but I've heard that they've kind of done a good job with that as well. The combat is a lot of fun, and the game runs, for the most part, really, really well. The Digilock stuff is amazing. They finally topped the lockpicking. Chef's kiss. But honestly, if I would have to rate this game right now, I'd give this game a 7.5 out of 10. I think with mods, which I have installed 3 or 4 of them, it made the game more enjoyable because the UI in this game is horrendously ugly, and I had to get a mod to make it bearable. But honestly, give it about 6 months, give it about a year, and I think with mods, or even with Bethesda, this game can be an 8 or a 9. Again, if you are a Bethesda fan, if you love Bethesda games, you are going to love this game. You are going to love this game unconditionally. But I am a Fallout fan, and I was kind of hoping more for that, but I didn't get that. I feel like this is a little bit more like Skyrim, and it's in space. So that's where I kind of had that disconnect, because I've never played Skyrim in my entire life. So maybe the one person on Earth that's never played Skyrim. But thank you guys so much for watching the review on Starfield. If you guys like the video, hit that like button. If you guys like the content on the channel, hit that sub button. Thank you guys so much for watching On Point in Progress, and progress has been made.